Hey guys, my name is Bonnie and you were watching The Combatant. Continuing on from our last episode, we're going to be taking a look at another aspect of the Filipino martial art called Kali. Today, all the techniques we're going to be taking a look at are dual-wielding techniques. Ease of practice and study, I'm going to be showing you the techniques by myself. And we also have a guest today, Peter Barta, who is a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo, who's going to be running through the drills with me. If you missed the last episode, I highly recommend going back and taking a look at it. It not only gives you a good idea of the beginnings of Kali, but it also gives you a set of basic techniques that we're going to utilize continually throughout the next few videos. First technique we're going to be taking a look at is called the high-low-high. Once again, we're using the rattan sticks called eskrima, which is used by Kali practitioners to replicate the use of swords. For the high-low-high, we start in the open position with the eskrima chambered on our shoulders. The first strike, we turn our body slightly and strike the attacker's temple, following through and making ourselves a slimmer target as we do. We then crouch slightly to strike the attacker's knee. As we bring it back up, we unwind the body, return to square as we bring it across the temple, rotate our wrist, and chamber it again on the outside. Once again, returning to the open position. The other side, we do the exact same thing, striking high, carrying through, rotating the wrist so the palm is facing down to strike the knees, rotating up again to strike as we follow through, rotate the wrist, palm up, and rest. From the open position, we strike through, we then tap low, through high, and rest again in the open position. Notice that we're only using one hand at a time, unlike the Heaven and Earth Six, which we'll be learning next. The second technique we're going to take a look at is called the Heaven Six. For this one, we start in the typical chambered or closed position with our non-dominant hand chambered across our body. For the first strike, we're striking the attacker's temple, once again pivoting slightly to make our body small, carrying through and rotating the wrist so that the palm is now down. With the second strike, we're actually going to strike across the attacker's midriff, slicing open the belly. You'll notice that when I do this with a partner, my blade is tilted up. This is so that we don't hit each other's knuckles. But for the meaning of the strike, we're actually going towards the midriff. We then follow through and chamber. Our palm is now rotated up. For the final strike, we do a backhand, really using it almost as a snapping motion, like you would do a jab, hitting the temple and snapping it back, changing the hands so that the left is now on top, resting on the shoulder, and our right hand, or non-dominant hand, is underneath. Back, we do the exact same pattern, striking the temple, rotating the wrist all the way, striking the stomach, rotating the wrist all the way, striking the temple, and chambering back underneath. So for the Heaven Six, the first strike is across the body following through. The second strike, again, following through in the backhand. The third strike is a backhand tick, chambering and reversing direction. Again, we go through, tick, and chamber. The third technique we're going to take a look at is almost identical to the second technique. It's called the Earth Six. The first strike again comes across the attacker's temple, rotating the wrist till it's palm down. The second strike, instead of going to the belly of the opponent, we're actually going to drop down slightly and hit their knees, swiping low. Again, rotating the wrist as we follow through up. We then again unwind to tap on the backhand and return. Follow through here, slicing low to the knees, tapping as we chamber this underneath. This. For the Earth Six, we're doing the same patterns in the Heaven Six, except for the second strike, we're going to go low. So again, we follow through to the head. This time we strike the knees, follow through, and do a backhand tick and chamber. Again, we follow through to the knees, follow through, and tick to chamber. Final technique we're going to take a look at is called the umbrella. This is a slightly more difficult technique. It's important to go slower and really concentrate on the accuracy of the motion. For the first strike, we're going to strike through just like we did for the Heaven and Earth Six. Except this time, as we carry through, we're going to rotate our wrist completely until our knuckles are facing out, or the palm is out. We're going to make a motion as if we're combing our hair, going all the way around our body as the second strike comes through to the midriff. The second strike chambers normally, as the third strike, continuing its motion, comes down in a slashing motion across the attacker's body from clavicle to hip. We then chamber on the side and begin the second. Again, striking across the temple, rotating till the knuckles are out. As it goes behind you, winding and slicing the midriff, rotating, bringing the blade down, and chambering. The first strike, as we comes through, goes around your head as if you're combing your hair. Second strike is through again. The third strike is through, and we change hands to chamber. Again, first hand comes around the head, backhand through, and we follow through. You can imagine that first strike as almost one continuous strike of striking and striking again. Because it's one of the most utilized techniques in Kali, we're going to take an extra special review on the Heaven 6 with a little help.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love?
Well guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or requests, please let me know in the section down below. Be sure to tune in next time where we're going to be taking a look at some knife disarming techniques. But for now, my name is Cont'd, and I'll see you next time.